Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen, ladies, I want to thank you very much for tuning in. I know it's later than my normal time. We have such a weird day today. Um, in my area, as many of you know, I live in the Tri Cities, Tennessee area. Rain, hello, how are you? Carrie, cosplay, how are you guys? All you all doing? Rain, happy belated birthday. Sorry, I didn't know it was your birthday. I would have said something before my previous live. Mutt Dog, how are you? All right, tonight's going to be a little bit different. Normally, I start off with five top things, but I'm not going to do that tonight. I just got off work within the past 30, 35 minutes. I didn't have time to get that together. Um, but there is some important things that I wanted to talk about and jump on here tonight. So some of you know, and some of you don't know that I am an empath. And I walk the life of an empath, and there is many times where I don't like being around people, so because I am so sensitive to negative energy and a person being a succubus. That I don't go around people a lot. Today, when I got up this morning, the energy in the Tri-Cities area was so negative and so ill that I literally felt like I was having a panic attack, an anxiety attack, because the energy was bouncing around so much. And as the day progressed, thankfully, I was able to get my focus and get my would get to a point where I could focus on what I needed to do. And one of the things is that I realized what was going on, and it was through conversations with Carrie and cosplay. Hello, Lisa. How are you? I know people are still coming in, so I am slowly building up to what we're going to do tonight, and talk about what something else a little bit. There is a person that is not from the Tri Cities area, and no, I'm not blaming him for the negative energy, but instead, I'm saying that there was such a huge disturbance today. And it's just ironic that he was in this area and he was trying to investigate and get the vibe for the Tri Cities area, for the Kingsport, Rogersville area. That all of this was happening at the same time. And well, curiosity, I know is going to draw people to the area to have them investigate or take a look at what this is or that is, and that's natural curiosity. But the one thing he did today on a live of his that actually disturbed me the most was he went down the street that a miner related to Summer Wells lives on, saw that they were that he was out front sitting on his porch, and had the audacity to stop and approach the minor. Now, I'm not saying names, I'm not saying who it was. I'm just voicing my opinion right now. You don't do that. It's a minor. This is a Tennessee is a one-party consent state, and I get that. It only takes the permission of one person just to video or audio record. You still don't approach a minor. You don't do it. That minor has had enough issues in the past 10 months, almost 11 months now, dealing with what happened on June 15th. That you have to leave him have his space. He can't tell you any more than what he already has. And Carrie, you're exactly right. It's disrespectful. It is disrespectful to approach him, his family. They cannot tell you anything more that they know anything more than what they have already said. But my interest tonight isn't so much that it just that's just something that was eating at me when I start tonight is that he went and approached a minor. It's just unbelievable that somebody would do that, especially considering the how volatile the story has been, and the rumors have been surrounding this individual and this whole entire case in general. You don't approach a minor. If you're an adult, you don't approach a minor without the parent being there. No matter if the minor is a teenager, 17 years old, it doesn't matter. You don't approach the minor. And yes, I know I'm being repetitive, but it's just unbelievable that what they did, what this other person did. I started by saying there was such a huge disturbance today in the Tri Cities area, and it was spiritual. I mean, really seriously spiritual. It was the angst, the unbelievable feeling that was in the air in the area was just so tangible, like you could reach out and touch it. The spirits were just that upset and that irritated today. And it didn't really leave the area. It spread out through the area and into some other areas. But there's something really going on that I'm starting to believe that it goes beyond, way beyond what we know about the whole Summer Wells disappearance. No, I still believe that exactly what I said that happened to her. That hasn't changed. And it's not going to change. And Carrie, you're right. It's still lingering. It's not as strong as it was this morning in the early afternoon, but it's still there. The the There was a person. She goes by electronic medium that have found to be a reliable, consistent, reliable source of information or um, watching her with doing her use of a spirit box and communication with Summer Wells. She released a video this morning. Yes, Lisa, that's exactly the video I'm talking about from that other person. But Electronic Medium put a video out today, and it was on Summer Wells, and she admitted saying that she had walked away from the case. She thought she was going to be completely done with it. There was nothing more to learn, nothing to gain off of doing more spirit box sessions. And she was convinced that it was just one more. She had to do one more. And in her spirit box session, now mind I remind everybody from very, very early on in the whole disappearance, I've been very, very convicted of where Summer is, or where at one point Summer was hidden. And that is that she was hidden in a cave, or a miner's an abandoned miner's opening. And and there was something that was said that I'm going to mention specifically. And Carrie, please correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the one that really caught this. Kentucky is a huge area for old or miners entrances, going back to the days when they would mine coal. And there's an area that I heard of before that is known as the Black Hills. This is separate from like California with the oil and the gold. This is separate of that from that. From no hillbilly TV show reference or anything. But there's one specific mountain, and if I remember it, and again, I don't have any, I didn't have a lot of preparation time because it was really, I didn't have a chance to pull back up to take a look at it. Um, but they said Black Mountain, or made a reference to Black Mountain, which is the same area that I was referring to when I said Black Hills, the coal area, the coal where they were digging and mining for coal. And there is a mountain called Black Mountain in Kentucky. Within just a within just a few days of and I apologize for my hiccup. Um, Within just a few days of Summer going missing. Thank you, Carrie. It was Black Appalachian was mentioned. Within just a few days of a very short time of Summer going missing, it was rumored at first, and later it had been confirmed, even though Candace was still denying that this happened. But it was by Robin, the woman that was going that you see in the pictures or in the video clips where where Summer is hugging on the woman in church. That's the Robin I'm speaking of. And other people had to call Don Wells and basically tell him how it was inappropriate for him to be taking off to Kentucky like he did, and that his place was home here in the Tri Cities, Hawkins County area, while his daughter was missing, and he was reluctant to return back to this area. The area that he was in the same area of this black mountain. Lisa, she's actually really good. Uh, Electronic medium is really, I think, really good. Um, she doesn't try to make things out to be what they aren't. It's just here is what it is, and what I believe is being said. She has a couple. She has a spirit box, and she uses a couple different apps that work with that spirit box, or different types of software that work with it to help. But she, in my opinion, she does a good job. And yeah, Carrie, she's right. You're right. She is a very sweet lady. She has been very close to my own experiences with the spirit box, and my own opinions of what happens to Summer, what happened with Summer Wells, more so than some others. I don't know where she's from. I don't know anything about her. I just know that you can find her on YouTube, and I personally like that what she what how she presents it. Tri Cities area is a very tight knit area. Even though the Rogersville area is what I would definitely describe as being an outlier area, it's it's still part of the Tri Cities. Yes, Hawkins County, it has its own way of life. Oftentimes, if you listen to the interview room with Chris McDonough, where he interviewed Candace Wells, they make reference to being on Tennessee time. It's just the Tennessee way of life, especially here in the Appalachia. It's very relaxed. You'll get, things will get done, but there's not this high stress, high anxiety way that it has to be done right this second. It has to be accomplished, and it has to be, 50 other things. It's just, if something interferes, this will still get done. It just, I got to take a little detour to get there. I'm working on a timeline and a project of things that happened, or what happened that day on June 15th. And some of the things that you're seeing right now and hearing about right now as it approaches the 1 year um, anniversary. that people are focusing on, and I made mention of this in another uh, live of mine, where it is people are focusing on things that do not matter. They're interviewing people from not the area, saying they are from the area, who can't explain that a sheriff is hired by the county mayor, because every county in Tennessee has its own mayor, in which the cities or towns coordinate everything with that mayor, such as, if there was a huge flood, or there was some sort of natural disaster. The county is the county offices, the office of emergency management, and things like that. They all report to the county mayor. And there, and I know that really has nothing to do with Summer, that point, but you have people going on YouTube recently that say, they live in the area, but when you find out where they live, they either live 30-40 minutes away or an hour and a half away, and have no contribution whatsoever to what is going on with Summer Wells. Well, I'm not griping, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that as a person that I sit on a fence kind of here. Here I am making a video on YouTube, but I'm about to say that the area is sick and tired of outsiders coming in and asking 50 million questions, and all of them the same thing that they've all answered. Yes, some believe that it's the parents had very much had something to do directly with what happened to Summer Wells. There are some that believe, like I do, this is a tragic accident, but the criminal, if there is a criminal element, happened to the next step. What happened to Summer after she either went into a coma or she passed away. Carrie, yes, they know what they've heard, but that's about it. I really just wanted to come on, and that was part of what I wanted to say is, we're back to that video where I said, watch who you're listening to. Be careful of who you're listening to, because who you're listening to has associations that you're not aware of. Like that group that I had pointed out, saying that if you look at the people that they have had on their channel, all lead back to either a fallacy story, where they're just making up a fake story to try to answer questions and put attention on themselves, or they're a group that is associated, that is directly tied to the parents, who have been nothing but wanting to misinformation put out there from the 911 call reporting Summer missing. These these individuals that are claiming to be from the Tri Cities area and are not from the Tri Cities area, it's shame on them. It's shame on them. You know, this is a tragedy that's gone on for almost 11 months, 10 and a half, almost 11 months now. And the area is still trying to heal. And I'm going to include just the Tri Cities in general. You're talking Bristol, Kingsport, Johnson City, and the lands that are in between are trying to heal from, and have the hearing on for little Evelyn Boswell and what her mother did to her. Carrie, you're exactly right. And cosplay, you're good. I understand. Everybody's got other things going on. I'm a talking head. You can drop me down to minimize me and have something else going on. I understand. It's not a problem. You know, but Carrie's right. They're doing nothing but throwing fuel on a fire. They're only making it more and more dangerous for persons that are needing to be protected, needing to be um, 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 needing to heal and allow for time to heal, because their role, or what they the part that they're a part of, is not over yet. We have Evelyn Boswell, who, if you're not familiar with the Evelyn Boswell story, I'm actually planning on doing a video this weekend for on Evelyn Boswell. So please tune in for that. I'll probably be on Sunday afternoon. It has been a while since I've done an update with her, and I've not actually done the full story on my own. But Evelyn Boswell story is still raw in this area. People compare what's happening with Evelyn Boswell and Summer Wells. People are still hurt and shocked and sad for that. Lisa, you're right. And hello, Phoenix. How are you? I see that you're lurking. How are you doing? As much it is just the beginning for summer, I pray that it's almost the end as well. Because that little girl deserves, and part of the healing process, Tri Cities deserves to know what happened. If it means giving her proper and final resting place, then so be it. But it's all of this momentum and all of this going on, where you have people coming in and stirring everything's back up, are not doing that. They're making it. They're going back to this. Going back to this right here, they're doing nothing but throwing fuel on the fire. Hello to cosplays kids. How are you guys doing? Thank you for, if you're listening. I don't always say that my show is great for kids, but tonight's okay. I promise. So, with everything that was so spiritually wrong with this area today and raw, I wanted to try to give spirits a positive chance tonight to speak and be heard and see if, also there's some questions that we have from those who experience today. And in just a moment, I am going to put my spirit box on, and I am going to hopeful that you guys can hear it with it being over the internet. Um, I don't always hear things right away. Just give you an explanation. So if you hear something that I'm not hearing, do not hesitate to call it out in the chat room. Because a lot of times, from when you're doing this live over the internet, sometimes the internet will try to make sense and out of what is being said, and things can be picked up where I'm going to have to tomorrow morning probably sit down and go over what is being said tonight and um, try to do another quick short either tomorrow or Saturday night um, where I say what I hear. Exactly, Rain. Exactly. And I know that my videos are really late in posting stuff about Summer Wells, but I have Carrie can tell you, cosplay can tell you, Phoenix has heard. Most of my people in here have heard me speak about Summer Wells. And even though I've not posted videos all along, I did so for a long time under other person's channels. Because I never had the intention of having a channel myself. And when people heard what I was saying and that they liked the way I spoke and they encouraged me to have my own channel, that I decided to go ahead and have my own channel, is why that my content about Summer Wells is so late in her disappearance. But I have been following the whole Summer Wells saga, and I'm putting it as saga is not because Summer Wells' disappearance and what happened to Summer Wells potentially is a saga. It's all the other fluff and stuff, as Rain had said, that has gone along with this, has turned this into a saga. I remember first hearing about Summer Wells was when the dispatch call went out. I happened to have had a slow day at work that day, and Oftentimes when it's a slow day at work, I'll either watch something on TV, or I will, and I do put YouTube on my TV, um, or I'll have a radio station playing, or um, I'll even, if I just get a funny feeling that something's going on with the police or the fire department, I'll put Broadcastify on and I'll sit there and listen to it. And June 15th, about 15-20 minutes before the call to go to Ben Hill Road came out, I had Broadcastify on. So I was following along with Summer Wells from the moment the dispatch call went out. I remember that first day that I was I str- I use streaming services for TV. I don't have cable. I remember watching the news, the 5, 6 o'clock news, the 11 o'clock news that night, actually 10 o'clock news as well. Um, and the WJHL that most people will refer to for news for this isn't just WJHL. They actually run the ABC station around here, and I don't remember the four-letter call letter word that they go by, but WJHL runs both their station and ABC. And I remember watching that 11 o'clock news. And I remember being up early the next morning, being like, "Oh, please let them found that little girl. Let them have found that little girl overnight." You know. Thank you, cosplay. Thank you for having my back on that. And Lisa, you're right. It has gotten to that point in YouTube. At first, it the reporting, the coverage that people were giving was awesome. It really was. It was awesome. It was like, let's take a look at every single possible detail and respectfully do so. We're gonna have a little bit of fun along the way. We're gonna make have some more our normal crowd jokes, and but we're gonna do, when we talk about Summer, we're gonna do so. It was so hold her up with the dignity that she deserves as a young child, and we're gonna respectfully talk about it. We're gonna talk about what the police are doing and why they're doing. Speaking of which, WJHL just recently came out with a news article, and I didn't see their broadcast yesterday, but I did see that the thank you, Carrie, for pointing this out. I believe it was Carrie. That, or it may have been myself that found it. I don't remember. That they had were talking with the state police in the area about the use of drones in a search for Summer Wells. Let's in the in the time span that Summer Wells has gone missing, there was that little girl, and I don't remember her name off the top of my head. She was from Australia that had gone missing, and the police did everything they possibly could to not only investigating, the rumors that were going around, the tangible proof, the evidence that they had. Their law allows for them to fly drones, and that people in types of situations, they don't have the freedoms that they would normally have. Like, we yes, Cleo, that was her name. Thank you. Uh, no, it was before it was pretty much from the get-go. It was pretty much from the get-go, Carrie, that other channel you were talking about. Um, I'm pretty sure it was right in between the time she went missing. It wasn't a major thing we were talking about, but as it got closer to the press conference on the 29th, it was a major thing then. But when Cleo was missing, they were using drones and they were doing, all these extra measures that in the United States that you don't do, either you hadn't done as of yet. And part of the reason is because we have certain rights of privacy that other countries don't have. And as for as much as they could have possibly have delayed some of the information from coming out, in Summer Wells's case, it's actually been a good thing because people's rights have also been protected as well. And whenever, and I'm a person that whenever you have a doubt about any law or any situation involving our government, if you it just the doubt, you always double back to one thing, and that's the Constitution. And I'm not trying to get off on a political conversation. It's not my intent, but that's just the way my mind works. And I hope I didn't run anybody off with that because that's not my intent of going that route. Right, Gary. Yeah. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a major thing at first, but by the time that press conference on the 29th, it was a daily thing that we were talking about. Um, but I wanted to give it some time for the spirit box and ask some questions and try to see if we can get a hold of Summer Wells. I've been able to get a hold of her a couple times and speak with her. One of the early times that I've had to do, I did so. Um, it was almost immediate that I had to speak with Rose Bly or Grandpa Joe because she was so shy and her speech was so limited. And from things I've heard since then, her speech has become way more advanced, much better. Not in just in the fact that she is speaking, but the total of the language she speaks and the how well developed it is, as well as the amount of words she uses. And it's not just from electronic medium that I noticed that. I noticed that with some other spirit box sessions. Now there's some that she won't speak for. I've also found that, but there are plenty that she will speak for. Just so anybody knows, if they know anything about spirit boxes, um, I have a couple. I don't have a spirit box like a couple people on this. Most some of the people do on YouTube when they do the spirit box sessions. Mine is an app on a tablet. I either use Necrophonics or Necrobox. I believe my necrophonics is probably the better of the two. And that's what you're going to hear start right now in just a moment. And let me know if you guys can hear it. I am turning my microphone up, so if I get really loud, I apologize. I'm not raising my voice. I'm just trying to turn my mic up so it will. Yeah, Phoenix, I remember you having an SB7. I want to get one. It's not the right time for me to do so right yet. But it will be, I will be able to do so in just a couple months. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate that. Hello, spirits. My name is RJ. I only want to talk to either my spirit guides, positive energy, spirits, or Summer Wells. Summer Moon Utah Wells. If you're not either one of those, I ask you that you leave because this is not your time. Summer, are you there? Was that you? Did I hear you just say yup? Pop? Hello, Summer. How are you tonight? I know it's a little bit difficult, more difficult than normal because I don't have the white noise feature on because just to make it easier to everybody to hear. But I have some friends with me tonight that are listening. Summer, can you tell us what happened? Summer Wells, can you tell us what happened? I don't know about you guys if you're hearing anything or not, but I'm hearing uh, another word for demise. I'm hearing basement. Summer, I've always wondered and always wanted to know, did you drink that sun-kissed orange bottle in the truck? Summer, did you drink from that sun-kissed bottle in the truck? That orange drink, was it bad? Is that what you're saying? Summer, are you still with me? Summer Wells, are you still with me? I am. I'm going to ask again, Summer Wells. Did you, spirits? I only want Summer Wells to speak. Summer Wells, did you drink from that sun-kissed bottle in the truck? Beach Creek. Beach Creek. Guys, please understand, I'm in an old brick building that I'm sitting in front of an open window, and outside of my window, my open window, is a wooded area. So I could be picking up some of the spirits or some things that are out in the woods as well. So please, it's why you might be hearing a lot of different things going on. Summer, you also said sandwich medicine. And more recently, it's been said that it was something mixed in mustard. What was mixed in the mustard? I heard Summer say something about mom, but I can't say. Yeah, it's going to say my name as you guys know it, and my real name that only a couple people know. I've heard my real name mentioned. As I was saying though, I heard Summer say something about mom. It was a few words then mom, but there was other voices that were coming through at the same time. So I'm not 100% sure what it was saying. Summer, can you tell me about that? What was mixed in the mustard again? Yeah, my dog. I hear nap. I heard nap a couple times as well. I have a theory about that, and I'm gonna let this go for a few more moments. I have a couple more questions, but I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. Summer, Summer. One of my friends had asked you a question earlier today about giving her a sign that that Black Mountain was the right area. What song was that? If it was from you, okay, Summer. One more question. I know you're probably getting tired. I know it's been a long day, and people have probably been asking you a lot of questions. What do you want to tell us about the day, the June 15th date that we've not heard before? Summer, is there anything you want to tell us about June 15th that you have not told us before? Escape from what? Escape from what? Okay, Summer, I want to thank you very much. I know I've heard you in here tonight, and yes, that's you. And spirits, I also thank you for helping. And to my spirit guides, I also want to thank you for helping bring Summer forward. At this time, I'm going to be turning off the spirit box, and as I do, I'm going to ask that no spirits remain here tonight. This is not a place that you can be until I invite you to come to talk with me. Spirit guides, I ask that you take push all the empty the space of all spirits, and only the positive energy that is naturally in my apartment is allowed to remain. Mud Dog, I want to thank you. I did notice that you had said a prayer for a protection on for us all. Before I had started my live, I had done also the same, but I wanted to say thank you because I did notice you had done so. And I forgot to open that up to anybody that may want to say a prayer protection, even if it was in the chat. So thank you for doing so. And just to let everybody know, I am I have a candle going to be going in just a second here. That is sage. So I am taking care of myself. Um, so we did get some answers in there. We did hear some interesting information in there. Um, it is going to take a day or so, like I said before, that I'm going to need to seriously take a listen at this and to be able to tell you what I heard exactly. I'm not going to presume I heard anything right now. I did feel like I heard from Spirit from Summer. Um, like I said, I will. You can mark your calendars. I work until 6 o'clock East Coast time on Saturday. I will be live. I would say 7:30, 8 o'clock ish on Saturday. I should have time to by then to figure out what I did here. Um, Forgive me, I'm still lighting the candle. So if you hear it click, come on, later. My later doesn't want to cooperate with me, folks. But nonetheless, did anybody hear anything that they thought was noteworthy tonight? I got my lighter to light, so we're good now, guys. My candle's lit. I know it wasn't the most cleanest environment as far as noise wise or other things going on because I have a window open and it's sitting in front of the window and there's woods out there and you can't control what's going on outside. But at the same time, I believe Summer was there. Definitely was hearing nap when I was talking about what was mixed with the mustard and sandwich medicine. Okay. Definitely going to write that down and take note of that. I have spoken with Summer through Spirit Box before, so I'm not surprised that I was able to. Don't like to call her forward or to call any spirit forward, but I'm not surprised that she responded. I'll put it that way. And with the necro box, the necromancer, whatever we want to call it, I probably said a word that I shouldn't say, but that's okay. The necrophonics um, app, it's raw stream. It's not filtered. It's not anything like that. It's just a raw stream of what you're device is picking up. Yeah, yeah, I was getting that too as well, cosplay, especially there at the end. That's why I was like, okay, that's enough. But we've recently found, going back to where it said nap. I was trying to see if she would say poison or sleep or talking about a nap. We've been finding a lot of information recently that would I'm gonna let me correct myself. We're not finding a lot. We're finding some information recently that may show that Summer Wells was given, and this goes back to another YouTuber that did a video on where they said talked to somebody that had Summer over for a sleepover with her another daughter of hers, with the daughter of this woman. Let me correct myself there. Who said that Summer was sent to the sleepover with Benadryl and with um, melatonin. And if you're depending on who you listen to, electronic medium, especially, um, some of her earlier stuff on Summer Wells, it mentions Summer will actually mention sandwich medicine. And as I was saying before I started the session with the spirit box, Summer Wells' language has advanced some, and the part of the spirit box session from electronic medium that she posted this morning mentions mustard, like something was mixed with mustard. In my mind, being just naturally intuitive or naturally just curiosity, put those two together. Put the melatonin and mustard together because melatonin in a pill form would be so easy to grind up, especially if you had a mortar and pestle, and then mix into mustard, and it's just like an animal, an animal not wanting to take medication. What child wants to take medication? And mustard is such a strong thing that it would be easy to hide a medication in. And in my Discord, yes, I'm plugging my Discord a little bit here. Um, we were talking about, and I must admit, I was not fully aware. I thought melatonin was something you took in the morning because your body wasn't producing it, and to help aid it produce it, you took it in the morning to jumpstart it because it's something that had to build up over the course of the day. Uh, so many things it would build up over the course of the day with, especially with her being outside and exposed to sunlight, because that's supposed to be a natural response to sunlight. Lisa, I'll get to your question in just a moment. That is it possible that the amount of melatonin that she had been given was acting as if it was a heavy sedative? In other words, were they doping her to the point where they were overdosing her for somebody that her age was getting? And did this lead to one of the factors, and I'm still on board 100%, that this was that her demise was fate, was purely fate and an accident. But was she getting so much melatonin that it was acting like an overdose, or she was having an overdose of it? Because if you remember, and I'm referencing the interview room once again with Chris McDonough, especially with going back to with what Jose had said, she had a switch. She was either on and 100 miles an hour, or she was off and sound asleep. There was no in between like a normal child would be, where you'd get that I'm winding down and you can tell because I'm just getting still. It was boom, 100 miles an hour or gone, sound asleep. It didn't matter where she was. Again, my whole entire channel is I want to just provoke thought. So I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm saying if what I believe happened, this could be a contributor. I did more research on the whole idea of somebody being having heat illness, especially being in a vehicle in the past week. And at 117 degrees internal temperature, that's lethal to a child. 30 minutes in that car, that's lethal to a child. Considering the clothing she was wearing and the fact that there was no air circulation, in order for a child her age, her size, to be able to handle 117-degree temperature in direct sunlight in a car, she would have needed some sort of airflow for her body, her skin, her sweat glands to have done what they were supposed to do in order to cool her body. And if their windows were up in that vehicle, there would obviously would be no airflow. And if she was overdosing on melatonin, now again, I'm just thinking outside the box and throwing a thought out there. I'm not trying to create any sort of controversy or anything like that. I'm just playing what if. What if she had been given something to eat that had melatonin already mixed into it, and it was maybe the second time she had been given it that day, and it was nap time for her? She went to sleep, fell asleep, sound asleep, hard asleep, by all accounts of information that we know, and she just never woke up from sleeping. Right, and not to mention that they would give her Benadryl. Benadryl, just to being a natural antihistamine. I carry Benadryl. I have Benadryl because I'm allergic to bees. I'm not severely allergic. I'm just allergic enough where I got to get the stinger out, a little bit of a paste of baking soda and water, and take a shot of Benadryl, and I'm good. I'm tired afterward, but I'm good. I'm very lucky that my allergy to bee stings is not severe. Do I try to avoid bees at all costs because I don't want to have to go through all that? Absolutely. But still, it's you know, I take a preventive measure. Lisa, I'm going back to your question here, and you wonder if what she would say at her home on what happened. I mentioned earlier that I was working on a timeline, and there's I'm coming up with a couple of possibilities, and I'm not the only person that's working on this timeline. Where I think the myself and Carrie were both doing this, and I believe we're very close to the same thing, but we have some discrepancies to be enough to say this is different. And we've talked about it. We're not making changes to our own timelines. We're just saying, hey, this is what I'm running into. Are you running into something similar? Or do you think that this fits into this at this time of day? Or but we're not changing our thoughts on it. We're just saying bouncing ideas off each other type of deal. And that would be actually be a very intriguing thing, Lisa. If they are not back on that property, to be in that area, not specifically on that property, but be in that area close enough that I'm intrigued to take my the to have recording and find out what she will say. Cosplay, that's a fair answer because I said I don't know if it's possible, and I actually was questioning to see if anybody else that had would have an idea. I don't think it's possible for an adult to do so, but we're also talking about a child that at the time was 5 years old. Unfortunately, my dog, we're never going to know. I don't believe the family was not big on healthcare. If you pay attention to if you heard what I say had happened, one of the details I say happened is just proof of that. I believe that they had opportunity to go to the hospital, but they instead of doing so, they decided to take Summer to Don that day. I believe that it was because of Candy that Candace was encouraged to take Summer to the hospital. But when she contacted Don about that, he told her it was a bad idea and she listened to him. It's God's place. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So, but Doug, I don't think we're ever going to know if there's some sort of chronic illness or chronic issue such as she had a heart problem, a heart disease, or not too young for heart disease, most likely, but some sort of congenital problem. But if you also look at some of the photos that were taken of her through the course of the year when she was 4 or 5 years old, as many times as a child does, they get pudgy right before a growth spurt. It's not that they're just becoming lazy or they're eating a ton more, or it's just that their body is naturally storing fats, and because they're about to go through a growth spurt, and their body's going to need that extra energy, and that it's going to burn off as they're growing through that growth spurt. And if you look at some of the photos, yes, some of it can be explained as being, it could be that, or it could be just natural baby fat as she's starting to become, get out of the toddler years and into the school age years as well. But you can see a progression in that she's growing, she's getting taller, and some of the videos and some of the photos that have been shown naturally as she would, but some are more than others. If you listen to what they are consistently being reported as what their diet consists of, malnourishment was definitely present in all the kids that were on that property, because a staple of their diet was the frozen $1 pizzas that you can get, or $2 pizzas, really cheap frozen pizzas that you can get in the stores. And nothing I'm saying about them being malnourished is is shocking, revelating news. It's been well documented. Um, and part of probably the reason that some of the neighbors, depending on whether or not believe that the CPS was coming out to investigate the day after Summer went missing, or whatnot, or if that was coincidental that they came out on the 16th, or but if you do believe that some of the neighbors, that was part of one of the complaints that was rumored, that the children were so malnourished or not fed right, underfed, that the neighbors were worried about the well-being of the children. Rain, that's a question I had never pondered to this moment. Do you think Don was thinking bad ideas, or because Candace was under the influence or of some substance? That's really a good question. I might start spinning on you guys in a second. I apologize. See if my signal strength comes back here a bit. It just there we go. It's coming back. Okay. It just got really weak on me for a moment there. I apologize. I'll answer it this way. You can never plan when an emergency is going to happen. So if, for instance, you're out at a family picnic and it's an area that allows, yeah, well, either that allows or even if it doesn't allow an adult to be drinking alcohol, and an emergency happens, an accident happens, an incident happens, however you wish to say it. I am so sorry about that. I don't know what happened, but I am back. Thankfully, I didn't lose my stream there for a moment. Right in the middle, making a point where if I was making a point of um, if they were in a sober enough mind to make appropriate decisions, then I don't believe the hospital would have made an issue out of it. If she wasn't in an appropriate mindset or mind frame to make those decisions, then definitely the hospital would have had to do something about it or make an appropriate make decisions for the child, no matter what the mom, Candace in this case, or dad, doesn't matter what who the parent was, um, would have been. And there's many times at the hospitals, if you look at just look at TV shows, they actually, even though it's Hollywood, and even though it might be not per se exactly what the case law or the law is in your area, but they do a good job of presenting. I know, like Law and Order, SVU type of shows, they do a good job of covering that type of scenario sometimes. I can't tell you exactly, a TV show or, name a title of it or anything like that, but they do cover scenarios like that. Um, yeah, cosplay really is a D answer, all the above. Um, I kind of get the feeling personally that when they did take her to Don, that she was in basically like a coma type of state. Uh, Cosplay, that's very true. She did. Both of them did. In Tennessee, the law's a little wonky. You can actually get away with open container in a vehicle as long as it is not within the reach of the driver and there is other passengers in the vehicle that are saying that it's theirs. It circumvents the open container laws. Um, you actually do raise a different point that I don't even think you're aware of. Um, right now in the country, there's whole thing on weed being legalized in most states in the continental 48. Um, Tennessee is a state that it's made oils for medicinal purposes legal. It's not been a from what I heard until they're considering putting it to the a vote on the next major election whether or not to legalize pot. But it's not even like a consideration in the Tennessee House or the Tennessee Senate. They're just not touching it. They're not unless until it appears as a ballot question. Rain, you're good. I understand you perfectly. Don't worry. So there's something I want to touch on, and cosplay kind of does touch on this here. Um, so in my part of Tennessee, the Tri Cities area, the idea where everybody keeps saying that heroin is such a huge deal, meth is such a huge deal, and that there was a major drug bust for somebody cooking not long ago. Do you know how many in the past since Summerhead Wells has gone missing? How many meth labs or heroin deal? Let's just go with meth labs or meth arrests have been made in the Tri Cities area. And I'm not talking about somebody got caught driving down the road and had a little tiny bit that they personally use. I'm talking somebody's dealing. There's been two that I'm 100% aware of. There's been two. And not like it used to be where it was when so this is the second time I've lived in the Tri Cities area. And I've been living in the Tri Cities area for going on 16 months this last time. But previously that I was living in the Tri Cities area for about 3.5, 4 years. So I'm not new to the Tri Cities area. I've lived in the Tri Cities area, and that time frame that I was away from Tri Cities area, I wasn't very far away. I was an hour and a half away. It just they're not part of the Tri Cities, and Tennessee has come up with a deterrent that has actually helped. Its original intent, and I mentioned this before, its original intent was more so as a deterrent to women that were um, either had become pregnant or were considering trying to have a kid, and also had a issue um, with drugs. There is actually a meth registry list that the state runs in Tennessee. That when you get arrested for methamphetamines, meth, or other very heavy substances, very large amounts of drugs, you get registered on this list. And if you're have a family, or if you become pregnant, and you're not following up on your prenatal appointments and things like that, because your name is on this list, it automatically gets reported to CPS, and then they get involved during the course of the pregnancy, or during involved in the family, as a warning from the state that, hey, you're not doing what you need to be doing to satisfy either your probation, or your whatever the deal was from you getting caught, that you need to get back on your game, or you're going to be landing up in more trouble than you want. And it has worked. It has worked. The number of people that are on these life destroying substances has gone down in Tennessee. Carrie, I don't believe that's the case, because I'm not trying to be gross. I'm not trying to be um, um, full of details and information that I'm not 100% of positive. But from my understanding, if that she had passed away in a vehicle, with the amount of time that she would have been in the vehicle, one of the dogs would have picked that up. The scent and the odor from her turning from being alive to what the cadaver dogs pick up. And this is where I'm not sure what they pick up or how they pick it up, but that would have been present in the vehicle, and the dogs would have picked that up. Um, right. Just as much as the dogs would be able to pick up a person buried, or 6 feet deep, or up to 6 feet deep. they would have definitely been able to pick up the what they're trained to pick up in a vehicle. I fear it as well, Lisa. Being totally 100% honest, I fear it as well. You know, I've said one of the things I've said, and I was saying earlier today, man, I really wish I could draw a picture. I have no sense of drawing. Like I was making a joke of if I were to draw a stick figure, it would look like something but that Picasso would have drawn because it would you would not recognize it as being a stick figure. I cannot draw. That's how bad I am. But from day one of the very first images I've gotten about this is that, and it's not changed, is that I believe she was put into a cave or, as I said, a miner's entrance, and it's not very far into the cave or miner's entrance. It really isn't. When they if they do find her, it's going to shock people how close to the opening this is. I believe that was either dirt or stones were placed around her. I believe there is a source of water that comes out of one side of the cave, opposite of the opposite side of where she's actually at. And this is the opening, the entrance. And I believe there's a pile of rocks also in that water that's partially covering that side of the cave entrance. Um, uh, but there's a path, and it's not a road; it's a path. You have to get there either on foot or by dirt bike or horse. But it's not a big path; it's a small path, easily hidden, not easily. What is if somebody were to walk up a trail? This area that branches off of this the main path is so easy to miss. I know it's in a mountainside. It's not quite two-thirds way up to the peak, but it's over halfway up. And it just my ability to draw is so poor that I wish I could draw this out because like I see it so clear in my mind, but I know I can't draw it. Now I will be honest, I've gained details that I didn't have when I first saw it. That I've got I can see more details about this area than I did before, but I still I can't place where it is. I don't know where it is. And when I say this mine cave is partially hidden by rocks, I want to say, and the rocks fell down the mountain and just happened to have landed there and piled up there in front of the cave. Yeah, the water actually runs out of the cave and comes through the rocks, like under the rocks, around the rocks, and it goes. If I'm looking at the cave entrance, and I want to say it goes off to the right, off to my right. Lisa. I could try, but I'm really just that bad at drawing. It wouldn't turn like I could try to draw a tree and it wouldn't look right. It wouldn't be a tree. Then you understand my whole dilemma more than anybody else that if I could find somebody that was doesn't have to be a great artist, a fair artist that would be willing to sit down and listen to me describe the image I see, I would love to do it just to see if that place exists. And Lisa, like I said, when I draw a stick figure, it looks like Picasso drew it. It doesn't look like a stick. It doesn't look like a person. So if you can draw twiggy figures, that's one step better than me. Mud Dog, have a wonderful evening. I'm not going to be much longer myself. I said it was going to be long, and it's landed up being longer than I anticipated already. So I hope you have a wonderful night's sleep. Good night. Lisa, that's interesting. I'm still not familiar with the YouTube that much that I know uh, a handful of people, and I know like my style of what I how I present things and things like that are a cross between a couple of different people. Um, I know who a few people are, but I don't know a lot about who who is on YouTube and who can do what. Oreo can draw. Well, if either one of them would be willing to listen to me and hear what I describe, or even if I were to write down what I see um in an email and send it to them, if you have good contact with them, I know cosplay you have really good contact with Oreo, but I don't want to presume. Um, Let them know that that I'm definitely looking for somebody that can do drawings. I would like to see if this is what I keep visioning um, is accurate, not for bragging rights, because if I am right, you'll never hear me say I was right on YouTube. If it turns into something that is tangible and it actually is, you'll never hear me say it on YouTube. especially if it were to lead to where I believe summer could be. Well, guys, like I said, I actually didn't plan to be more than an hour and a half tonight. And um, I do have to get up for work in the morning. Um, yeah, please let me know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to cosplay. If she says she's not comfortable with it, that's fine. I completely understand. Um, no pressure. But I'm going to call it a night. Like I said, I wanted just to jump on here and say a few things about what I had heard and what seen was going on today. A little bit of reaction, but with the way that the day had been, with just spiritually, it was just so much angst and being all over the place like it was. I was hopeful that we can get some. Um, I believe it was somebody, not only Summer, but something else was just completely upset spiritually with this air in this area, and it was such a huge presence of that it was causing so much to go on. Thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate that. Really, I do. Um, Cosplay you as well. Um, I appreciate that. But I want to say good night to everybody. Uh, Yes, cosplay. Thank you. I always forget that, do I not? Please, as cosplay said, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and that bell for notifications. But guarantee, guys, I promise I am going to be going live Saturday night. I may do something on Sunday, but Saturday night is going to be a really short night. It's just going to be a little bit give myself a little bit of time to analyze what I did here, and take note of what I did here in live tonight. And then I'm going to do a real quick thing about talking about it. I'll probably do like tonight where there's no top five things. Just we're just going to jump right into to say hello, make sure people come in, give everybody a few minutes to come in, and we're going to jump into it. Thank you, Rain. I appreciate that. Good night, everybody. I'm out.